saying I'd done it.
Right.
Yeah? And how anyone with no nails, yeah, can scratch through, right, 2 layers of clothing. It's absolutely, and down the way like
Well,
that.
it's not actually possible, so...
Exactly, yeah.
So what was the outcome of the hearing,
Well,
then?
they'd photographed that and used it to say I'd assaulted her. Well, that is scientifically...
It's a blatant lie.
Well, it's not even possible.
Yeah, it's a blatant lie.
Even if I had nails,
They've fabricated evidence,
yes,
obviously.
yeah. The next evidence that they put in, the next hearing, right, they were told to bring the full evidence in.
Mm-hmm.
The next evidence they put in proved the Red X paperwork wrong. And do you know how I got hold of the Red X paperwork?
Go on.
First evidence. Because Blakemore's solicitors, their secretary or someone there actually posted it to me, and I got it in my post when I arrived home.
So somebody actually had a pang of guilty conscience somewhere.
I think she accidentally posted it because it was refused me.
Oh, right.
And the police aren't allowed to Red X allegations.
No,
they can't
of course
Red
they're
X
not.
their names.
No.
So they'd made allegations but wouldn't reveal their names.
Not prepared to stand up and be responsible for their actions.
Yeah.
That seems to be something that we're hearing a lot of, especially lately.
But they'd made allegations, yeah. But the allegations were that my daughter phoned the police, not me. Well, you see, the next lot of evidence they put through proved that I did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? So, you see, the Red X evidence makes a liar out of the next lot of evidence they put in. That's why they wouldn't put their names forward. So the final hearing, because the interim hearing, the judge told me to go and ask the police for the tape, even though the previous judge had commissioned the evidence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then, so I tried to get it from the police, they still refused. Yet they'd shared it between the court and Blakemore's, who still refused it to me. And then the final hearing was on the 20th of August last year, 2010. My evidence, I kept writing to them, where's my defence evidence? Blakemore's, the court, continually asking them for my defence evidence, yeah. I asked for my daughter to be assessed for Asperger's, which is high-functioning autism, earlier on in the hearings, yeah. None of that happened. And, like I say, the final hearing, the member of the public, being a vulnerable person, was forced into arguing with my daughter on the stand. Yeah. They made no findings against him whatsoever. But the man who put the paedophilia on the net had told my daughter that he'd seen him and I in town. He told her that we argued with him. My daughter wasn't there, yeah, but she'd sworn an oath to what had happened to something with him and us when she wasn't there.
Right.
How can you swear an oath to...
For hearsay.
Yeah, but a solicitor allowed her to swear an oath. Well, we proved the bloke to be wrong because
Absolutely.
actually he threatened me once again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I couldn't phone the police, and I've had threatening phone calls from him as well, in front of witnesses. I can't phone the police because they'll start on me. Yeah, a woman living on her own, phone call threats from him in front of other people. I can't do anything about it. I can't go to the police. Yeah, but all I can do is plenty of people know about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
I've
even
had
more will
threats in
know about
writing.
it after this.
I've had threats in writing, in his own handwriting, death threats.
And you've kept all these?
Yes, yeah. And I've had threats from his mother. Yet the police are protecting him and her, and they're enabling him to not only groom my daughter, But when I saw her, the final hearing, when I saw her in court, I actually wrote to the court saying how ill she looked. She looked like I didn't even recognise her. And she was only yards away from me. She would walk into the toilet and she was like this. I presume she was drugged up to the eyeballs. There was no expression behind her eyes. There was no muscular tone in her walk. She was all floppy. And I was terrified for her. She just looked so ill. There was no light in her eyes. There was no expression. Only for I knew that she'd had her fringe cut. She's got long hair. Only for I knew. I seen this girl walk into the toilet and I thought she'd got the weight of the world on her shoulders. And she was in the toilet. I thought, that looks like my daughter. Didn't even recognise her. She come out. I watched for her coming out and I realised it was my daughter. Yeah, 2 years later. Just totally not. And I mean, in the court, I had to look round at her a few times because she was at the back. And anyway, we get into the final hearing. The judge, before he even sits down, I can't focus him because he's a good way away. I can't see his face properly because he's moving. Before he even sits down, is seated, he starts screaming at me, threatening me, saying, get that smirk off your face and I'll have you for contempt of court because you're laughing. And I thought, oh, so you're threatening me, are you? You're threatening me before you've even put your backside on the seat. I haven't focused you, so how have you focused me? Yeah? And I wasn't laughing. I mean, he was just walking in. What's there to laugh about? You're waiting for the man to sit down.
Absolutely.
Where's the joke? So then he said, he was screaming again, well, I'm going to hear this case today. This case is going to be heard. Very abusive, very threatening. And I thought, you can threaten me all you like, but it's not legal. And I told him, I said, I haven't got the evidence. I've been refused the education evidence. He offered me his file. Argue it now, I've got it in my file. Argue it from
He
my
had
file.
the education evidence?
Yeah. And the barristers said they've got it. They both had it. It's like the tapes. They had the tapes. Wouldn't let me have a copy of my own tape.
Well, they're obviously damning then.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
So what do you see as your next move?
Right, I'll brief it down. What happened after that, I never got heard. I asked permission to leave. The other man got heard. There was no findings made against him. And 18 days later, I was targeted by the mental health. I never go to the doctor. I've never been on any medication. I've never suffered depression. I've only been from my wisdom teeth. I don't take tablets. I never have done. I'm not an alcoholic. I rarely drink. They targeted me 18 days later until the police and psychiatry landed up at my door. I cleared them off, and then they got a court warrant to attempt to section me. The police broke into my house with the mental health, 7 big...
You frightened some people, I think.
Yeah, but the Citizens Commissioner took it up. I managed twice to foil them, and now it's a major case with the Citizens Commission because they've never had a case like this.
Right.
Never. They'd gone for a section.
Is there anything that our viewers can do to help your cause?
Well, what I would advise them is if anyone tries to section you under the mental health, you've never been to the doctor with any depression, the doctor doesn't know you, you never go there, you're in good health, contact the Citizens Commission on Human Rights. I mean, it was really scary because, 20 to 10 at night.
That's a strange time to come calling, isn't it? When you're dealing with mental health issues. 7
of them, 3 big burly cops, police van. Yeah. The police have had a continual presence at my house, my neighbours are aware. 6 times in 6 months. hoping my neighbours will think I'm a criminal or something else. Continual presence. They falsely arrested me again, put me on bail, false charge. Well, they didn't even put any charges, refused my tape again, had to let me go. And the other guy, who's a member of the public, I got targeted by the mental health. He got attacked and left for dead.
Good Lord.
Within 6 weeks of the hearing. We've both been targeted. Well, it's hard but that man who was in the hearings, forced into the hearings, is 62 or something. He got coshed from behind and robbed and left for dead, which is in the middle of the day, 2:30 in the afternoon.
Right. Well, thank you very much for talking to us.
Yeah.
And
it's briefed it down.
all I can do is to wish you the very, very best of luck, and I hope I'd love and might towards your daughter.
And everything